Hey guys, I think we are now live. So, welcome to our stream. We're going to continue the illustration of Roy from Super Mario Koopalings. It's coming along quite nicely, and we're going to add a few extra details on and just polish this illustration. We've got a few people in the chat already, so let me know if my voice is loud enough and if the music's an okay level. I need to turn it up a bit. But yeah, so we've got Tegan. We also have Justin. Venomized Toothless. Hello to you too. Sarah, hello. Dr. Virus, the doctor is here. Alien Animations. Damn, this has been a long series. Yeah, it kind of has. It's a bit weird because we started the Koopaling illustration about 3 weeks ago of Boom Boom, and once we turned it into that My Hero Academia kind of villain, we started this one on the second one when we finished it off earlier on in the stream. We just started another one in that stream, and now we're continuing the second one, which is the Roy Koopaling illustration, in the next one. So it seems like it's a long series, but they kind of merged in the middle of the last stream, which is quite interesting. We will be going to finish this one off today, and then probably stop at that one, maybe do art tips, Q&A or something if people have questions at the end, and then yeah, we'll see how it goes. But looking to add kind of bring this more to life with the lighting and the shadows and a few effects and special effects on there, and hopefully make this illustration even more epic. Oh, more people. Hello, Stella Kitsune. Hi, Tipcentric. Whoa, that disappeared quick. Hi, Tipcentric. How are you? I'm doing good. The boss lady says, the boss is here. Places everyone. Oh, dear. And Justin says, Happy Mario Day, everyone. Wait, is it Mario Day or are you just saying that?
Mario Day.
It's Mario Day?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. This is even better for the stream. I did not know it was Mario Day, so brilliant. We're doing something Super Mario related on Mario Day. I think that's a nice, happy coincidence. So, just to continue where we left off, I've created, the only thing I've done is create a new layer and just get the actual opacity level right. What I'm going to do is do another pass of the lighting on the character in the illustration, and then I'm going to start adding the colouring on top and the effects. The idea is on this area down here, alongside this direction, I want to have kind of like an explosion off screen around here happening from where he's fired the bazooka blast, and then we'll start getting some of the colours like the reds and that going into the background, and the rest of it after we've got the main colours sorted, which should be quite cool. Dr. Forrest says there's been a lot of snow where you live. We had a bit of snow the other day, but it's kind of melted away with the rain since then. Any Animation says this drawing is like Attack on Titan. You say it's going to be the final part, and then when you make another stream, that's a season 3 part 3 part 1. Yeah, but it's all good fun. Hello Matthew, welcome to the stream. Yeah, actually that's not a bad point, Justin. March 10th is always Mario Day, because when you spell it out in English, March 10th is spelled Mario. I can see how that is. Yeah, I get it too, Zara. The Mar 10 goes to Mario. Nice.
Oh, I was thinking like the word Mario, like March, so I was spelling it in my head as March. Yeah, I never say it. That's not.
No, it's the short abbreviation of the month, and that's just quite cool. Yeah, so we're going to continue with the illustrations and get into this. If you've got any questions, fire them away. I've got DempseyJ Gaming here helping with the chat, so if I miss something, they'll chuck it kind of like my way, just to make sure. And yeah, Yes, Matthew, I was today years old when I learned that. I've learned that today as well, so I think we're all today years old when we've learned this. Right, so let's get into this. I'm going to start on Roy himself, kind of like on the fist, because I know where the lighting's coming from this, and because he's the central figure, I'm going to have more emphasis on the lighting effect hitting with the values. So to this, I'm just going to get the right brush size and then just pretty much just pencil in the or build up kind of like the highlights. So you want to adjust it. Obviously, the more it goes into the dark areas of the shadows, the less light we'll have, or the least amount of light will show, so it won't look quite as bright. I was going to say it'll be less bright, it'll be less brighter, and I was thinking that's not proper English, and I'm going to get told off by everybody. So I've corrected that. But what I want to do is just build the kind of like the feeling of the character up. So maybe if I add the reference image to the canvas, you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here of the character. So as I kind of like add more to it, you can kind of hopefully see on his sort of like fist, where he's fist bump in the air to celebrate firing the bazooka at someone. Probably Mario, or nah, it'll be Luigi. It'll be Luigi or Toad he's fired the bazooka at, I reckon. Yeah, that kind of will bring up the lighter area, and kind of where the knuckles are, you'll get this. It's weird. It's almost like a specular light that comes across the line of the knuckle, where it'll be brighter and then it'll kind of like die down a bit. But I don't want to do too much. I want to do enough to make it subtle on the actual main illustration, but it's weird when you're doing a painting style, it doesn't look quite finished when you've zoomed in. Dr. Virus says, I have a good Mario voice. Nice. Tipcentric, it's a me, a Mario. I can't do Mario properly with my voice at the moment, so yeah. Justin says, Demonica, Dean Dinaclaw, and Aaronfold calls MC Griddles the McGriddy while also doing dance move on the griddy, which annoys an accent. Yeah, I know it's a stereotype that he's Italian. Everyone's done the Italian accent, and he's a New Yorker. He's from I think the original Mario movie, the live action that they did. They made him from Brooklyn, which is quite cool. Alien Animation says it'll be quite cool if there was smoke coming out of the cannon, so it looks like he's already fired one. I probably will add that on the end with the effects. The whole, it's weird how you think about it, but unless you've drawn the effect in terms of say the fire and the flames, you've drawn the outline of it on the illustration. Draw the character, build the layers and the lighting up, and then do the effects over the top, and then jump down a layer underneath to add the kind of like the colours overwards, the colours over it. It will make it stand out more, and it's a weird way of thinking about it, but a good tip is to separate everything out onto a new layer. So you've got your flat colours, you've got your shadows, you've got your lights, you've got your special effects shapes, you've got your special effects shadows and lights, and just build it up that way, and it kind of ties in really nicely at the final product. Which we'll hopefully get to tonight. Cool. So, how's everyone's day been? Have you had a good day? A good Friday? Well, a good Friday, a bad Friday? Looking forward to the weekend? I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's going to be fun. I'm also looking forward to this month. There's a few things going to be happening on the channel this month, which would be quite cool. There's potentially one, maybe two new series that I might launch on the channel in the normal videos. I have started work on one of them, and I'm really excited about it. I just need to get around to doing the illustrations to go with the lore that I've typed up. I haven't finished all the lore, but it's going to be in a separate universe to the narrators and everything. It's completely isolated from the rest of the stories on the channel. It's the only thing I can really say on it. I don't want it to tie in with any of the existing narrators or anything, even though it could be a similar subject matter. It's completely separate, so it's a standalone series. I've piqued interest. Alien Animation goes, ooh, what is it? I will be giving more hints on Patreon for what it is. However, you will find out when the teaser images start dropping, probably in a week or two, for the video. I don't know whether I'm going to do it next week or the week after. It depends on when I can get everything scheduled in. But it will be an interesting new series. I'm super excited about it. I know some people may know what it is because they're in close proximity, even though if they're not aware. You weren't told. Actually, you weren't told about this one, were you? You weren't told about either. You're told about one. So one I have mentioned on the live stream before. I might turn into a series. Is I'm toying with the Ben 10 Heroines one, and I've been working out that, which is the second potential one to happen. I'm not sure about this month, but this year. It's a completely brand new series. And that'll be more normal videos because we did the Diamond Head character, which was really cool. But I am looking to take an existing series and kind of or an existing subject for a series that we've done touched on briefly before, and I'm going to do something a bit more, a bit new. Well, not exactly a new concept, but it's going to be quite fun and fleshed out. So it is completely separate to everything else, though. Plus, in all fairness, I can only do so many accents and voices, which means I can't have it in the same universe if I want to reuse a similar voice on a series later on with a new character. Otherwise, it just gets really confusing for everybody, even with the narrator avatars. Let's see if I missed anything. Tipcentric says, a day has been really awesome today. That short that I popped again and made another one today that I'm really happy with. Tipcentric, is that the one that you showed that had that steady growth, that sort of like day-to-day high view count? Because if so, that's awesome. Oh, we got the puns starting. Sarah said, I threw away my vacuum cleaner today. It was just collecting dust. That's it. We've made it big on the stream. Puns have started already. Justin says, how does the Ben 10 Aliens as Heroines react to the fake TV show incident? I've got no idea. I haven't really thought about that. I've been mapping out how... Truth be told, I've been doing some design notes, audio notes, so that I can just jump back to them so people don't see anything written anywhere. Which basically translate to me figuring out kind of how they might look or the feel that you might get from the characters. So kind of like Heat Blast, how I might have the powers and abilities be portrayed on a humanoid character. So I've been working those aspects into it and kind of like the setting and how they'd interact in a broader sense. I don't know how they'd react to other stuff though. Koi, I completely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, Justin, that's one way to look at it. Ben 10 is kind of a 10-year-old alien management system. Yep. That's a pretty good summary of it, really. That's the entire series done in one. No, I appreciate that, Koi. So, I guess I've got a few things planned this year for the channel. I've already kind of just given you guys a bit of an update before I post any community bits out, so you get the advanced bit ahead. I'm looking to hit a couple milestones this year, which will be quite cool. First one I've mentioned several times is the whole monetization, so I can get membership access to do a few bits extra and add some little perks for anyone who can become a member. The other thing I'm doing obviously is the Patreon, which is again to give back to the community a bit more, but also to free up some of the content that we do on the channel, which is more aimed at those that, you know, aimed at those that kind of give a bit more support, so we can do something more interesting which everyone can enjoy, because they will be shown as proper videos. And then I'm looking to kind of just build things up with the content and that. A few new series, kind of tie in the whole shorts aspect of YouTube into it. You might have seen a couple of them going around. I do apologise for the phobia short if anybody got jump scared. I know Sea of Draconis caught it at a bad time, and I do apologize. I do feel a little bit bad, but at the same time the jump scare worked, so sorry not sorry. If you see this, don't hate me. It's all good fun, but yeah, I'm kind of trying to just build the community and build the content and the quality of the content for you guys over the upcoming year. Hit a few milestones. I would love to get to at least 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, if we say that. Once we get towards the goals, but that obviously completely depends on oops, don't want to move that bit. Depends on how everything goes. But I've also got a few series, possible series happening, like I don't know if I should do a how-to series. Maybe I'll do it in shorts, like process on how to do certain things and that. If you guys have got anything that you're stuck on or you want to know more about that I can look into. I don't really know how to approach a how-to series or what to cover in certain aspects, what people actually want to be covered. I can think what I want to be covered, but that might not be what others want. I know I've waffled a bit there, but I hope you guys get it. It's like, I can create what I think would be good for a tutorial, but you guys kind of need to, you guys will be looking for something specific for you, what you need. So if we get a lot of suggestions, I might just do a general one and we get a lot of suggestions on it. I can build a series up from that over time. Hello, Chromagod. Or, hello! Haven't spoken to you since Koi stream last night. Tipcentric. Yeah, I posted on Monday night. Wow, got 1.5 million on Tuesday. Slowed down for a couple of days, then 1.2. That's insane. That's awesome. I posted one yesterday after that YouTube event, and that didn't do too bad. I think it got to about 500 before it started leveling off, or I think it's around the 500 mark now on views. But yeah, that's about the best of my latest shorts has done. Ben 10 aliens in Habs in Hotel. That'd be quite interesting, Venomized Toothless. I quite like that. Oh, Omega Prime, welcome to the stream. Although I don't think Loki needs to be Infinity Stone enhanced at the moment. He's quite evil and deadly enough as it is. Matthew says, hey Dempsey, I feel like the Department of Multiversal Matters is based on or similar to the TVA film Loki. Ironically, I'm not going to lie, the Department of Multiversal Matters was decided upon after I'd watched Loki. However, I didn't take a direct correlation between it. I can see the influences. I just wanted a place where I could get the narrators together and I can kind of tie in the different stories in one place, like the Ben 10 demons. I could kind of just have somewhere where dimensions can interact, like a corridor or a building or an organization where it can run amok. But I can completely see what you mean now that you've mentioned it. Yeah, it kind of is. I loved that series and show, and I can't wait to watch the next installment of that. That'll be absolutely awesome when they do that. I love to see how it also ties in with the movie timeline. That'll be even more interesting from a Marvel point of view. But yeah, it's kind of similar to that. Chromagod says, hello father. Hello son, how are you? If anybody wants to know what's going on, watch Koi's Mario stream after this one. The stream from yesterday. It all happened. It's part of the live chat. It was absolutely brilliant. That's quite cool, Alien Animations. I'm thinking of doing a drawing of drawing stuff like Pop Cross, Jazza, and you. I already have a Pokemon sponsors video right now. No, that's quite cool. That'll be I'll be interested to see how that turns out. I have toyed with the idea of taking artists that I like, the channels and stuff, and seeing what happens with it. I mean, I've already taken that step in a sense. I've done Pop Cross as a phobia, and I don't know if anybody saw the comment, but I think it's safe to say he enjoyed it. But yeah. Hey, Minecraft Transformers, how's it going? Yes, Zara, that was me yesterday. So I think you said thanks in the Discord, but yeah, you were the lucky one on that one. And I can't remember who the other person was. It was It's Bread Bin gifted. Oh, Sage's Gaming got it from It's Bread Bin, which is quite cool as well. That's not a problem. I guess the question is, have any of you played the new Mario DLC that happened? It's Mario Day, we're going to talk about Mario a bit. DLC that Koi was playing yesterday, although don't be surprised if I am appearing a couple of shorts happening, especially where my video quality, a bit embarrassing, my video quality defaulted to 480 pixels per inch, so it was really low quality. So I went to change it, and I noticed Koi was streaming it as 2K, and I've never had it on there before that. So when I turned it onto 2K, it was like super high definition. Yeah, Koi just absolutely loved my reaction on stream. I think everybody on stream loved it. I was completely mind blown by the difference in the quality. I mean, I knew it would be improved, but I didn't think it would be that crystal clear. So yeah, that was a rather fun element of that stream. But yeah, back to the question: has anybody actually played it? Because the levels yesterday looked super fun, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having a go at some point when I eventually get a Switch. That'd be more of that area there, wouldn't it? Because you wouldn't have it much past this bit. I think that kind of looks right. Which bit yesterday? There's a few bits he might have been confused by me. It was a really fun stream. It was nice to see so many people taking part in the chat this time. You know, Koi kindly put it down into the main outside of the crushers so that a couple of other people could join in, which was really awesome. I guess the question is there any... I do have a question for you guys. I'll be putting it out into a community post, but anyone in chat here can answer, would be quite useful. Are there any series that I haven't done in a while on the channel that you want to see come back? I know D&D Mech Armors has been suggested quite a few times, and I do have a plan to bring that back in because we did the Pokemon Mech Armor one instead. But are there any other series to bring back? Because I know we did like the Multiverse story arc, and that's kind of left off at Grimlock's just about to be venomized in that epic battle that's happening with the Transformers and Marvel characters. And I've got a plan for that because I've still got to venomize the Dinobots. I might save that as a special. But is there any other series to bring back that we haven't done in a while? Pokemon Transformers?
But with Gen 9.
Oh, the newer one. Yeah, that would be quite interesting actually. The new ones from Violet and Scarlet as Transformers. That would be quite cool. Cuphead Pokemon series. Yes, I do need to do some more on that. take a couple more characters and bring that in. That was the Cup Mons. That's quite fun. I do also need to bring back some of the Helmond ones for a couple of live streams over time. We've still got, is it Mock? Yeah, no, not, is it Moxie or Millie we've got to do? We've got to do Moxie or Millie with Armor Rouge. I know, I think it's Millie. Yeah, it's Millie with Armor Rouge, which would be quite a cool one to do in that regard. Crema God suggests drawing my subscribers' mums. What, as demons or witches or venomized? That'd be quite an interesting one. I'll probably get a lot of hate from the community, but it'll be quite an interesting one to do. What else have we got? Microsoft's form is good. Left your power cord at your parents when you visited them last week and didn't know, the size of the jack, so didn't have enough power to build anything for a week. They mailed it back to you and it's made you happy to keep building and posting. Yeah, it's awesome when you can get back into the swing of things. It's one of the weird things when you're a content creator is you take things for granted until you don't have it anymore. It's like beforehand you're like, no, I can go about it, not a problem. Build it as and when you start taking things a bit more seriously in that, you're like, I've got to make content. Oh my god, this isn't working. I can't post for a week. What do I do? But no, it's good that you're back up and running, which is quite cool. Grandma God, you've got some really interesting suggestions. I'm also thinking of being more consistent with my stories, because I know we've diversed a little bit from the whole Loki storyline with the Department of Multiversal Matters and the narrators. So I am looking potentially to have each of the community redraws have some element of the main overarching story happen, potentially from this month's one. So each redraw, even if the theme's nothing to do with something that you think would tie in with the narrators and the whole story, it will have maybe a single small subtle hint or element that will play a part, if it's not obvious, in the main overall storyline. I kind of like in the idea of building everything up to make them more interesting, but also to just tie things together with little bits and see who's actually following the story as it develops. Speaking of which, hi Galahound19, you just asked about the community redraw as I was talking about it. So you say, how's the community redraw coming along? Have you received my submission? If so, what do you think of it? I've received it twice, so I don't know if you changed anything in it other than the subject line, or if you didn't think it sent the first time. But I'm going with the second one I received, which is the most recent one that I've got. I quite liked your submission. I haven't read it through, if I'm completely honest, but I had a skim look at the design, and I quite liked it. So, yeah. However, me liking it is also subject to whether it gets in or not, for the fact of the randomizer. I've decided now, even though I like them, unless it's potentially one that hasn't been done before, randomizer. So we'll see who gets in. But I do like the whole concept of this one, and as I'm saying, I'm trying to tie things in together over time with the main story. I want to kind of make things more consistent, but also have things build up. So each community redraw, if we haven't actually touched on the main story with Loki and the narrators and what's happening with tracking him down, there's going to be hints to the whole Demonica double agent element and stuff and what's going on within those community redraws. So at least once a month, there's a small progression of the story, so we don't leave it too long, which will be quite good. Dr. Virus says, I really hope the next redraw video makes sense for Dr. Virus. Are you on about next month's one? So April's one is possibly, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say if it'll make sense for your character. It just depends on how it rotates round, really. Justin says, Loki's got a 9-to-5 job, that's why we haven't seen him in a while. That would be super funny if he did, wouldn't it? That'd actually be quite interesting. You could just see him in like a an apron in the supermarket behind the till. I might actually just draw that for the fun of it, to be honest. That does sound quite interesting. But yeah. So Galahound 19 also says, hey Dempsey, what tips would you give to someone who's thinking about posting their own art videos? I think the tips, it's a bit tricky on that. It depends on how you plan to post the art. So if you are going to screen record, if it's traditional, get multiple cameras up if you can, or get an angle that's a bit interesting and works for you, and you can draw it. The more of the image you can see from a top-down angle is quite nice and quite good for traditional art. But also seeing something at a slight angle from the top and coming down diagonally, like almost over a shoulder, kind of like what I did with the Copic ones, where you had the top angle and a side angle. I'm lucky enough to have 2 ways to record. If you've got one, find the one that looks and works the best for you, and experimenting with that is the only thing I can suggest. If it's digital, try and screen record it. So most digital, if you've got like an iPad, you can actually set up a screen recording and just record the whole screen like I do. If you've got a PC, you can usually use something like, if it's a Mac, you can use QuickTime. But there are programs like QuickTime and that which allow you to record the whole screen or a section of the screen, and just work through that. I think the tips are don't rush it. Take as long as it needs to take recording, even if you've got to stop multiple steps like I used to, and record for say 10-15 minutes, stop, transfer it across, continue, so that you've got a steady stream of the actual artwork coming in, and then take the bits that are best and what you've got. I mean, in terms of the art stuff, experiment, have fun, do a subject you like and you love, or if you're doing a progression and you think it might be useful for other people to know, like you're learning a new art skill and you want to record that and share your successes, your failures, your tips, your hints, and what you felt of it, kind of like review it as you go along and show your progress, then just capture everything for that and take the key bits out. If you're doing an illustration for a subject, do what you love to do. So if you like doing monster characters, do monster characters. If you like doing a bit of everything like I do, pick a subject you like to start with to make sure you're doing it, and then work your way up. The other thing with if you're starting your own art videos is just do it. The hardest step on anything is to start it and just put yourself out there. If you're going to do your art videos as live streams on YouTube, you don't have to have your face in it, just go for it. You can even do ones without any sound and just say ASMR, draw with me, and just literally have some music playing, you not speaking, and just draw, and just have some text on the screen. You like write something on the tablet on the screen. Ring Spirit Art does that from time to time, and it makes no difference to the amount of sort of like the experience or the art, because you can just chill out and you can draw at the same time. So find what works for you, basically. Test it, try it, do it, improve if you can, and don't be afraid to give it a go. You won't get it perfect or right first time round. It's refining the process, but if you're going to do it, find the art subject and medium you love to work with, and just record everything and decide what you want to do from that. You'll develop it over time, but if you do what you love, people will come along because they'll like it and enjoy it and join in, like you guys do with my streams. You like to see the art and so like ask the questions and that, and with the videos, like Phobias of Dragons, that's always a fun one, and yeah, I enjoy doing them, so it works. Justin, I was thinking more of a cubicle job for Loki. That would be quite interesting. Chromagod, you can put puns in the chat as long as they are... think of it like you would do with Kois. You know, they're family friendly and they're fun. or they're dad jokes. But yeah, you can put puns in the chat. I may not get a chance to read them out, but the chat can enjoy them. Galahow19 also asks, since you've turned your narrators into Pokemon, I'm wondering what other plans you have. Will you be giving the narrators mech armor or turn them into dragons or what? The narrators are going to be having some wacky adventures through the universe. It's going to be a case of deciding what's going to happen as we go along. Some of the redraws are going to, or the stories that we're going to have, are going to get a bit crazy. I'm trying to find a ridiculous story that works. So, one that we've had suggested, which I like the idea for, but I don't know if I'm going to use that idea itself, but I like the concept, is like one of the narrators stumps their toes and has to unstump it by going through the multiverse, which is absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know how that would play out. But I want something goofy, something fun and different. But I do have plans to create alternate versions of the narrators at some point. So even if the names are the same or they've got different names, they will be... They could be dragons, they could be mech armors, they could be dinosaurs, they could be demons, they could be evil counterparts, they could be robots or animatronics from like Five Nights at Freddy's, or they could be Mario characters. But there are plans to take the narrators and do something wacky with them. However, I don't know exactly when and what point of the storyline that's going to be yet. I'm still fleshing out the core concepts. Hello Tony, welcome back. Galahow19 says, hey, here's an idea. How about putting Team Ruby characters into Warhammer? It would make sense. They're both super cool fantasy sci-fi series. But possibly. I have actually got some Warhammer books somewhere. I think they're over on the sofa over there. I was reading them earlier. Which could, in theory, kickstart a Warhammer series. I would love to do something with it. I'm kind of building up the lore. I have had a couple of the Space Marine models in the past when I was younger, but I didn't pick up the lore. I just thought the models were cool and just wanted to put them together and paint them. But yeah, Warhammer is something that's on the list for by the end of the year to do, if I can get around to it. Justin says, for the next Mario live stream, can we redraw the Jabba the Hutt scene, but with Bowser and Peach? I will think about that one. That might have to be a Patreon only stream or something. It depends on what concept that'll go. Quite interesting. Galahound says, what do you have lined up for Monday? Not sure yet. It's either going to be a video if I can finish the artwork for it this weekend and the lore and get it recorded, or I might have to default to a live stream, and if it's a live stream it's not going to be a Mario live stream. I'm thinking of potentially going back to doing a Ben 10 Kaiju live stream, so Ghost Freak, or doing the other Helmon in a live stream, and then I'm trying to balance it out so I've got at least one live stream a week and one normal video currently. I will, depending how it goes after we hit our watch time target, what live streams may end up being once every 2 weeks or intermixed every now and again. I don't know which way around I'm going to be doing it, because I do kind of want to get back to a couple of 2 videos a week eventually over time. But I also enjoy the live streams. They're quite funny. You guys can interact with me, which is good. So we'll see. I won't stop live streams. I'm still going to be doing them each month, because I do like doing these illustrations and, you know, building it all up and just making the illustration pretty much come to life. And then getting your suggestions and ideas in the chat is absolutely amazing. So we'll see what happens. But I think there's going to be a bit of fine-tuning for the balance as we go over time, just to see how things go. I want to, if we can build the community up and keep the live streams going, and I can get it high enough with the community and the subscribers, the kind of like the whole package, then I can do more things art related, because I can dedicate more time to it. until that point, it's balancing it out. In all honesty, I like to be transparent with you guys. It's a balancing act with a 9-to-5 job, but it's working so far, so we're going to keep this going. I'm glad you like that idea, Tony. Yeah, if you haven't seen them, there are live streams on the channel for that we've done. I think we've done Heat Blast as more of a Rodin style. We've got Diamond Head as kind of like this cross between Diamond Head and Copperhead from Pacific Rim into the Black. And then we also had Ripjaws as a kaiju, which was really good. And Forearms is this kind of armoured beetle kaiju with 4 arms, which came out really nicely. So it's just working through them a bit just to make... just to get them to stand out a little bit more, really, and work nicely on the kaijus. It's the only thing is some of the designs that we've got are going to be quite interesting. So, like Grey Matter as a kaiju would be really interesting. It's going to be like a really small kaiju. So, Pacific Rim Into the Black has that kind of like kaiju prince that's a smaller one. So it'll be some at that size. That humanoid character that can turn into a kaiju and turn back. So that'd be quite interesting. Anita Queen Mom says, "Are you the one who did the Pokemon Fusion video? Are you on about the Cuphead Pokemon Fusion one or the Helmon Fusion ones, where I take Habsin Hotel characters like Blitzo and Moxie and Luna and fuse them with Gen 9 Pokemon?"
Pokemon Fusion one that I told you to do, the Charizard and the...
yeah, I think we've got a Charizard. We've got some G-Max Fusion earlier one as well. I've done a few Pokemon Fusion ones, so if any of them ring a bell to you, or you can name the title or the video, then that would help awesomely. But the Pokemon Fusion one, there's a few Pokemon Fusion ones. Are you on about the Art Challenge one where I fused Pokemon with Yu-Gi-Oh monsters? Because I've done the Booster Art Challenge where I've taken a couple of the characters and fused them. Did you do Mal? Oh, are you on about the type swap ones where I changed they swapped their types? So Malmar became like a fairy type on a live stream, and then we took Moltres into a fairy type, and a couple others being swapped. Just trying to find. Yeah, if that was it, then I did do that live stream. That was an 8-hour live stream earlier on this year, which was back in January. But yeah, I think we did about 12 characters in the end on that one. That was quite fun, and I'm looking to do another type swap stream or video at some point. Just need to figure out some Pokemon. I had a random generator going, which is quite cool. My voice sounds different. It's a bit croaky today, but are you sure? It depends if it's the one that I'm thinking of or the one that you're thinking of. I'm not 100% sure. I guess if you can find it and you can put the title of the video into the chat, I would know if it's one that I've done or not. Or if you can find it on my actual channel page. Galaham19 has suggested that for my next live stream, I draw Bowser, that giant fire-breathing turtle, as a mech armor. Maybe that would be quite an interesting one. Het Chroma God. I think it's meant to be Hey Dempsey, but yeah. Het, what's up? So I says you should do a challenge to see how good a drawing you can do in 10 hours, 5 hours, 2 hours and 1 hour. That would be quite interesting. Before that though, I have promised at some point this year I will be doing an illustration where I'm going to try and I will do a post of it before I should launch the video out, but I'm going to do 3 different illustrations in 3 different art softwares and let you guys try and figure out which one's which. Once that's done, then I will look to potentially bring the other aspects over onto what I'll be working on, which would be quite cool. So that challenge would be an interesting one to see what happens. You know, how good an artwork can I do in this, and maybe depending on the style, I can change the style on each one, or I can just do a particular style and see how it turns out. Chroma God says, did you know 10% of female deer like Mario? It's one Nintendo. Chroma God. Hey Ben, how's it going? Oh, that might sound familiar actually. Yeah, I think I remember that. I will have to go back and double check that live stream where I did the type swaps, but that does seem familiar. So if that was the case, welcome back. Galahad19 says, what tips would you have on selling artwork? Oh, that's like the biggest, broadest subject going. I would say,
be patient.
Yeah, patience is a virtue, definitely, when you're selling your artwork. The other thing is also to... It's very difficult because art is subjective, and is, for example, some of my artwork is on the level with some artists that sell theirs for a lot more than I would ever dream of selling mine. I guess it depends on who your audience is, or your target audience, and it depends on where you're selling your artwork. So for example, if you're at we'll take Comic Cons for example. It's what something I've got experience with. So if you've got a table at a Comic Con, you're selling art and it's fan art. If you're at a smaller Comic Con like Melksham or Bath, then you're probably looking at selling yours for an A4 piece of artwork. Could go for £10-15 depending on what it is, and if you've got a name behind yourself or not. An A3 could go for £20 to £25. Now if you're in London Comic Con, you could potentially sell that same artwork for, the A4 one could go for 30-40 quid, or £20-25 minimum, and the A3 one could go for 50-60 because of the venue where you are. It's subjective. I think it's A, what you feel comfortable selling your art at, and B, what you feel your art's worth in comparison with others, which is really difficult because we tell you in the community, don't compare yourself to other artists. But when it comes to pricing, compare yourself to other artists to a degree. I think the best tips would be, sell it so you make some form of profit is the key thing. So weigh up the materials in, weigh up how you're selling it. So if it's a digital product like a print on demand, they'll have a base cost, and then they'll have a, when you do it, and then on top of it, like Teespring, it'll say a base cost for the poster, and then it'll say what price you put in and how much profit you make. That's all subjective. If people like your art, they will buy your art at the price you put it at. If your art is at a price and it is not selling or moving at all, despite having a big community base,
Lower it a little bit.
Yeah, you might have to lower it a bit or do a discount to get the ball rolling and then put it back up. It completely depends on your niche, your subject, your audience. But I suppose the thing is, it's easier to lower the price of the art than it is to up the price of the art if you're selling it somewhere. So my biggest tip is start at a price you think it should be, on the higher end of what you think it should be, and then either leave it at that and people will trickle in here and there and inquire, and some may want it, some may not, or lower it a bit, but lower it in deals so you can always bring the price back up. So a discount, two for, you know, if you buy two pieces of artwork and they're like £10 each, then you get them for 15, that type of thing. It's these tips are mainly to get you started. It is all about experience and where it goes and where you're selling your art in the venue, the audience, and that. It's very difficult to give a much more detailed answer to that. But if someone likes your art, they'll pay for it. I've had one guy at a Comic-Con want my A3 piece of art that I did of digital A3 picture I hand drew of Vegeta in multiple forms. So the original one from Dragon Ball Z where he was just the same Prince and they couldn't go Super Saiyan or anything, to Super Saiyan to blue, Super Saiyan Blue, Majin version, and I did them all on this A3 illustration. And even though I had a printout of that scanned artwork cheaper, and his mate said, why don't you buy that one because it's the same thing but cheaper, this guy went off and he went to a cash point and came back an hour later and bought the artwork for the price that I had it at. He said, can you hold it for me? I said, if you can come back by, if you come back at the end of before the end of the day, then it'll still be here for you. I gave him, he said for an hour or so, gave him that time, and he came back and he paid the full price for it. He went to find a cash point to pay the price because I couldn't take card payments at the time. I didn't have it set up. If people want your art, they will buy your art. The best tip is try and find that balance between where people buy your art and where you value your art. And that's a very difficult thing to do. That's only found through trial and error. But don't let it get you down if your art doesn't sell to start with. It will always sell. It's just, it will sell when the time is right to the right people. That's probably the best tip I can do. I don't know anything more on that unless it's more specific, being in an environment or a scenario, and then I can just say what I would do in that case. I mean, yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you or anyone about selling their art. It is a bit subjective. It's just at least cover the base materials and the base things for it, and then try and make a little bit of profit, and then just see where it goes from there. What else we got? We've got a lot of puns from Chroma God starting to appear. Ended a cream. Mom says, "I thought you were a lot younger than this." Yeah, no, I'm definitely not as young as I might sound when my face isn't on the camera. But it's all good. Ben says, if you do another Ben 10 Venomized video, maybe have anti-venom infect aliens, help Ben and Rook defeat the symbiote. Possibly. I will be doing a Ben 10 Demons video again at some point. I've had requests for that to come back. Also, Galham19 has asked about the steampunk narrator. I have not forgotten about that one. That is a potential new series that's possibly this month. I don't have any artwork done for that yet. It's more a bit of a story that has been fleshed out, and a lot of research and research notes to go through just to get back onto the habit of that. In terms of a name, I haven't settled on a name yet, so I'm afraid there won't be a name available currently. Suggestions are welcome, so if you got any name suggestions, put them in the chat afterwards, or put them in the chat, the comments afterwards, or the chat. Happy to have name suggestions for a steampunk character. It's just usually the names happen after I've designed the character and I look at the character and I'm like, that'd be quite a cool name. I don't tend to, my process is the name comes in last after the character's done and I haven't designed the character yet. But it would be quite an interesting one. Sarah says, my social studies teacher asked someone from England to tell them a fact, and she said that everyone is always late. We're not always late, but that is a bit of an English fact. I think if you want a fact from England, is we are the nation that queues. It's a bit stereotypical, but a lot of British people will stand in a queue and wait their turn going across. Most people won't walk along and just cut up if someone's talking and thinking. They'll tell the person, look, there's a thing there, go ahead to that, use it, we're waiting. Some places people just cut ahead, or first come first serve. We will stand there, and I hate to say it, there have been times when I've seen people queued and there's nobody actually on that till, and nobody realises it because they say that they think the till's opening and the till's actually shut, and yeah, they've just been queuing in the wrong till for ages. It does vary, but it's like, yeah, that's probably the biggest one. British people do queue quite a fair bit. It's the biggest fact I can think of.
We don't all drink tea.
By the way, who's the guy talking off screen? Alien Animations. That is DempseyJ Gaming. That is my eldest. Used to be that kind of artistic kid. So it might appear on two different profiles, one of those two. They are a moderator on the channel. So it's a mod in chat, and being as it's a weekend, a Friday, they are here with me. So that's how we have someone extra in the chat. They are also the voice of Hero, our beast tamer, which is quite cool. So if you guys want to see more episodes with the beast tamer character in there, which I think some people do, then be sure to let us know in the comments and kind of in the chat, because if you do, then we will come up with another episode. Don't know if it'll be mixed with the narrators or not, but there'll definitely be a future episode with a couple of interesting beast designs in there, I'd have to say, which would be quite cool. Anita Cream Mom says, can I suggest a great artist? You can suggest a great artist if you want to, who you think is a great artist. I have no problem with other artists being suggested on the chat. The main thing is, ideally, I try to keep things sort of like family friendly, but if it's a great artist, then by all means you can mention them, and if they do more not suitable for work art style, just be sure to mention that after the artist's name, so people can make their own choice if they go and have a look at the art or not. That way we're keeping it informed, because we've got to be quite careful in the community of, we're responsible in the community basically, especially once we get monetized, of what's in the chat. So if you can just say it's like NSFW after their name, then great, but it depends on which artist you're on about. He is a non-suitable for work artist. It's not Rake by, oh hang on, it's Suryo. Okay, that's quite cool. Don't know if I pronounced the name right, but I will have a look at some point at the artist if you say that they're a great artist, just to see their style and that. I find art is really weird. It's subjective to whoever's looking at it, in all fairness. But there is another one called Rake, REIQ. I know they do non-suitable for work as well as suitable for work stuff, and they've got a YouTube channel. They are an amazing digital artist as well. What I forgot. Justin has asked a question. I'm going to bring this question up. Justin says, so when is the moniker going to change their last name to Nightgrid after Nexum gets hitched with her Mayberry? That depends if the moniker actually follows up anymore with Nexum. If you did watch the Phobias one, Nexum is a little bit heartbroken over that. Poor Nexum. Loki's team just interrupted and basically just devastated that whole romantic moment. He finally got the moniker agreeing to kiss him under the mistletoe, and yeah, that didn't last long, did it? So that'd be quite an interesting story to continue. I've got plans for those two. I got plans for Demonica as well, and Loki and the whole story, which is why I'm hoping to... Well, I'd say hoping. I'm going to put in each community redraw, I just don't know if it starts on this one, little snippets, as I was saying at the start of the stream, in terms of what's going to be happening going forward. Should be quite interesting. Yes, DempseyJ Gaming, that is a good bit. This is why I said to put the NSW afterwards, so that people are informed, because it's a case of, you know, if you're old enough to go and check it out, and you want to, by all means do. If you're not, then please stick to, you know, the guidelines, stuff that your age groups are for.
If you aren't old enough, just stay here.
Demonica, Nightgrid, Nexum, Hitched. Yeah, Chroma God. Interesting story plan there. Marrying Demonica off and changing her name, which would be quite interesting. I do have, like I say, I do have a plan for Demonica, not in terms of the Hitched bit. In terms of her personal development in that regards, that's still being formulated in my head. It's the best way to describe it. But I have to say that there are some plans in mind already for Demonica and Nexum and what's going to be happening to them, as well as the other narrators in future videos, which would be quite cool. Tony suggested a symbiote on Fairy Tail or the Ruby characters. That'd be quite good. I am looking to do another Venomized video in a while. I haven't done one for a little while, but definitely up for doing a symbiote related video at some point in the future. That'd be quite cool. In terms of Nidoqueen Queen Mum's question about the 18+ channel, I have potentially in the past thought about doing that. Something along those lines. I guess it's something that I'd need to consider more. Time being a factor. In terms of one channel, it takes up a lot of time on YouTube. And this one's established. So it's one of those ones where unless I do a complete shift, which I'm not sure I'm going to be doing, there isn't enough hours in the day to do the artwork. But I have thought about doing more pin-up style art characters similar to what Rake does. Not sure I'd be doing 18+, but I have thought about doing that style. However, I've taken the style of the artwork he uses, so the digital painting style and techniques, and tried to incorporate them into my style, which is quite good. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that one. But as I say, you'll be surprised how much time a YouTube channel does take up. It's a massive amount of work and dedication, and it's a lot of support from friends and family and that, which is truly appreciated, even if you don't say it from time to time. It can eat up into a lot of your plans. But yeah. Justin says, I still like the name Nexum Nightgrid. It sounds cool. Yeah, to be honest, I haven't actually got a surname for Nexum on that one. That'd be quite an interesting one. I do need to think of it. We've got Enfold Bainsworth, Dino Dinoclaw, Demonica Darkstorm, and just Nexum. It's just Nexum. That's it. It's just Nexum. It just sounded right on its own. Should be quite cool. Tony says, can you do Digimon as mech armor or superheroes? I am working on the concepts for a Digimon-based episode at some point. I haven't got them fleshed out, so that is a potential one to add to the list. I really need another computer. It sounds really daft. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 monitors, and my phone is a camera. But I need another device where I can just copy and paste the ideas out, or someone to copy and paste the ideas out, which would be quite cool. Just to keep things kind of tracked, because I do need to go through all the live streams and find all the video suggestions, which would be quite cool. Which I do like the concepts. Digimon would be quite a fun one to do. It's very similar to Pokemon in concept. I think that lighting's starting to work a bit. Let's start working on the chomper a bit. Galahao19 says, so is the Monica going to be a triple agent or what? I'm not giving any spoilers on that. She is definitely a double agent, and she is definitely up to no good. She's working with Loki, and I do have plans for her future growth, or however it's going to be. Whatever you want to call it, growth, development and that. I do have future plans for her. It's just a case of figuring out the best way to portray those. It could be you think she's a triple agent at one point and she's actually a double agent. You think she's a double agent and she's a triple agent, but actually she's a quadruple agent. We could have so much fun with this, but I haven't fleshed out how complex I want her story in that regard to be. I do know that her personal growth will affect her decisions on the missions Loki gives her. Now, how her personal growth develops is still to be fleshed out, and I have got it planned out that there will be a few select individuals that I will be liaising with behind the scenes to bounce the ideas off for a few bits, but vaguely bounce the ideas off. Kind of like the mods on Discord, the patrons, Koi if they're about, family and friends, just to try and tie it into a really nice method of well, I say a nice method, really just trying to tie it all together nicely, but have it intriguing and actually work well. So I want to try and get as much perspective as possible before dropping those bombshells. On that note, Galahao19, I've just seen your message, so I will say good night and thank you for joining the stream, and we'll catch you next time. The chomper thing, yeah, he's got quite a scary expression on the chain chomp, but it's quite a cool design. Just trying to make sure I get the right amount of it picked up on this, because I want to kind of got a creepy expression, but it should make sense when they put stuff on it. Tegan, you can paint Loki the evil cat one if you wish. Just make sure Go for Dude 88 knows that you're petting Loki, or unless you're on about the demonic artwork one that we've done, then yeah, if Loki lets you, that's entirely up to you. Just beware his bodyguard Raina doesn't take the wrong idea and that demonic bodyguard attack you, which we also did in the live stream. We've done quite a few live streams actually in the last year, which is quite cool. And I am looking forward to potentially hitting the watch time target, just on a slight change of things. Yeah, they did kind of shut down Bowsette a little bit. Nintendo did, which is a bit of a shame, because the fan art story behind it was quite interesting, but for the initial concept. But I think it was yeah, it was one of those ones where they've got to kind of cater for the whole community, and sometimes that can affect some of the fun you can have with stuff. I mean, I can see it from both perspectives. Yes, the design of the character is what you might call quite hot, as Nidoqueen's Queen's mum has said, but also they've got to take into account their fan base. So their fan base and their target audience is a lot of kids and family orientated stuff, so they can't go too far one way to the other. Once you've established it's one of those things, once you've established an audience and a set style or a set character, those characters in fan art, they can be made to be whatever, but in the actual games and the lore and the story that everybody enjoys and for everybody, they'll stay true to the original stuff, and especially if it's your own product of a company brand. So it's a bit of both. I do appreciate both sides of the argument on that one. Will you do a family photo style drawing of the narrators at some point? I'll tell you what, Justin, just for you, I did a Christmas kind of family style one, but I will probably be doing another one at some point, just to show the narrators. And now to go back to the illustration. Should be quite good. Oh, music's up. I think I need to start working on the... Yeah, the light on this bit. It's going to be quite... Oh, that's going to be interesting. How's the light going to work in that corner bit? Is it just going to be this? Potentially it's just this bit being picked up. Maybe a bit of speculite around here. Wait, am I mute? Can you hear me, or is the sound gone? Just checking. Do me a favour, guys. Just let me know if you can hear me okay, just so that I know that... okay, you can hear me, that's fine. Cool, thanks, Tony. Matthew, I'm glad you think Roy's looking good. I'm really enjoying doing the lighting on the character at the moment, which is really fun. To just try and pick up this lighting and just... I'm having fun with layers, so... The key thing about this is I've created a second add layer on top, and I've got that about 50% to my other one that's like 50%. So where I work now with the light, it just makes it brighter and adds that extra contrast to it. So as you can see in the small thumbnail down here, I'll make it a bit larger, the light's definitely coming in from the side angle from the bottom up, which is emphasizing the character a bit more. But I'm also having to consider the shape and the angle of the objects. So like this one, it's a metallic bazooka, which is great, and the light will be hitting up and be reflective, but maybe there's going to be another specular sheen across that line there, which probably adds a bit more realism. Actually, I quite like that. But there won't be so much on the other side because of the... You might get a tiny bit here, if that, because of the fact that there's a arm in the way, if that makes sense. So it's kind of working it all out. Cool, I'm glad you guys can hear me. Never mind your back. Oh, okay, maybe it was me then. Evan M's art, we hear you. Cool, thank you. Chroma God says Chroma God. Yep, cool. Awesome. Alright, let's continue with the lighting on this one, trying to get this to give the idea or the impression of the angles. I kind of also think that because the light's bending down an object, you kind of get it to go narrow or wider and then come back. Usually narrow if it goes down at a certain angle. That's what I'm trying to portray here, but I also want to kind of cover the main. It's hard to explain, and I'm used to explaining things normally, but you want to pick up the light, but because this is more behind, it's not going to get as much light even at this stage. Tell you what, I haven't asked the chat, who's your favourite Mario character? Not a fan character like Bowser, even though that's quite a cool character, but who's your actual favourite Mario character from like the games and the proper lore? So, you know, it could be from the Mario Kart series, it could be from Super Mario 2, it could be from Wario elements and that. Just wondering who everyone's favourite ones are. Nila Queen's mom says Bowser. Yeah, Bowser's quite a cool villainous character. Elisha's name is changing Pokemon types. I believe that's probably the one that I did. Does it have like two symbols, like a electric symbol and a fire symbol on it with a blue background and loads of Pokemon silhouettes behind it? If that's on the thumbnail, then that's the one that I did. You like my black glove? Yeah, this is an artist glove that you can get, and I recommend it. You can use it for traditional art, but it's mainly for digital, and most of the time it stops when your arm's on the page. It stops it actually moving the screen, so your fingers do that, but this part of your hand doesn't actually get the touchscreen to pick up and shift, which is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic for that. Justin likes to draw Waluigi. Yep. Now, I will be planning to do several of the characters over time and do more. I have started an illustration, but nobody wanted me to finish it last time. They were after a completely brand new one in the stream, which was quite nice to see people wanting the sort of like a new illustration and the process to continue, which is really I'll say it's really refreshing at times, which is quite good. Okay, so you won't see anything over there, but I might come up to about here. Really weird because depending on the structure or the shape of the structure, some of these will pick up the light, some won't, and where I'm doing them now, you wouldn't think that it picks up the light, but because it's a metallic object, light goes everywhere around the sort of like reflections of everything, which is really weird. Just says, can we get a I think a drawing that you are approaching meme, but with all four turtles against Shredder? Maybe. Oh, the Seth Rogen's ones. Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot. I haven't actually watched the little trailer thing that was going around for it or anything yet, but I've heard they actually sound like teenagers. They actually sound like proper teenagers, which will be quite cool. Let's get some of this in. I'm going to turn the illustration upside down in a minute. When you do digital art, a little tip for you guys, you tend to find you can draw correctly a certain way. Your strokes are smoother, so usually it's a downward stroke. Don't be afraid, even if you're doing traditional drawing or recording it, to turn it upside down. Now, I don't do this in my normal video illustrations because I try to keep it a certain bit. I don't zoom in as much, but on a live stream, it's because it's live, I've got a little bit more freedom, so I can quite comfortably just jump in and flip it. Well, just flip the artwork upside down, just so that I've got a bit of a easier time drawing the lines that I'm working on. That looks quite cool. Not sure if it's too much, it's too bright on that bit, but I'll figure that out in a minute once I do the... Got to do the effects afterwards, which would be quite cool for that one. Alright, so we've got that jumper in, so we now have to work on this guy. Right, let's close that for a little bit because we don't need that for now. Yeah, that's probably a bit better. Let's do quite a large... Seems a bit weird, but this chomper is more in the air without anything in front of it. So I kind of want this one to have a... I say chomper, chomp. This chain chomp kind of has... I know this one's got... Down here has less in front of it, but this one's kind of got more of the explosions light. It's kind of to draw your attention to the illustration, or this part of the illustration, at the same time as doing the bits. The weird thing about lighting is less is more sometimes, but in this case, because of the contrast that I'm trying to get, sometimes doing a bit more lighting on it works really well. Of course, the chains have got a certain amount of lighting on them, but at the same time, they need to have a little bit. A little bit of a feel, kind of like they're a bit rusticy or metal. You know, pick up the speculite for the metal, but at the same time, I want to just not overemphasize the chain. It's not one of the main key aspects of this illustration, if that makes sense. It's it needs building up and working on. That's the point. I just need to check something a second, guys. Tony, no, I pretty much just did in video game characters as dragons. I did Bowser as one. I will be looking to do a... I am looking to bring some more series back into the dragons. So I had My Hero Academia characters as dragons. I've still got my Magical Academia to pick up. These are older series which I'm looking to bring back this year with some revamp on some of them. Whether I take back and do the original artwork much better, or I continue with where it left off and bring the story to a much more in-depth element. So where I'm, for example, my Magical Academia, I take the My Hero Academia characters and I put them into magical clans, and based on their abilities and their quirks is the story about their clan, their power, and the history of the clan and stuff to a degree, which works out really nicely. But then I've got to try and figure out how I'm going to interact them into a story. And I'm looking forward to this year to being more where I do enjoy those ones. I also want to develop my storytelling skills a little bit more. So I want to progress the storytelling to be... I think an issue with my storytelling is then I could probably fit much more into it if I learned how to describe some of the details better. So that's one of the key things I'm looking forward to doing on that, which should be quite fun. Stella, I'm so glad you made that comment. Stella says, I like the fact that Nexon got scared when the Popcross Dragon summoned Benny Sharp. I thought that was going to be perfect. I spent a little bit of time toying with the idea of what can I possibly do for Popcross as a phobia dragon, and then it hit me, just have the whole Benny Sharp bit in there for Nexon. It's the whole reason why Nexon was the narrator for that episode. There's no other way of doing it. But what I thought was even more fun was because it's a pop cross phobia, not a Benny Sharp phobia. Having one of the agents scared of this unknown person who, as soon as they have an idea in their universe and draw it, it comes to life in all the other multiverses. Which is where the whole concept of like the whole multiverse is in the first place. The whole core concept is if you can imagine it, it exists somewhere in the multiverse. So I thought it was just beautiful to have that character go in there and have like a little puppet of Pop Cross next to a little Benny Sharp puppet being made by the Dragon's Hand. And I thought that was quite a nice touch, but I'm glad you liked that idea, because that's the whole concept of that entire phobia was Nexum's going to meet Benny Sharp at the end and get him wondering, at the same time trying to act cool. He's obviously afraid because it's created a Benny Sharp, which was just sweet, poetic, and tied in beautifully. It's one of my favourite things that I did. So one of the mech armors you drew took you 2 hours to draw. That's good going. How long do they normally take you, Stella? Because most of the mech armors I draw take me about 2 hours to draw on a quick drawing. So if you're doing 2 hours on it, then you're doing good. Ben, go for it. I've even commented on the phobia video. I think I put a comment on there. Is someone said, imagine if Pop Cross drew me as a demon or something. I don't know if it was you or someone else. And I said, do it. Do a Dempsey Illustrations phobia, and just everybody comment on his video. Next phobias of demons, or on the current one, the last one he's done, comment me down and see if he does one back, which would be amazing. But yeah, that'd be quite interesting. Yeah, I've done that before. I've done a illustration through work. In fact, Dempsey K Gaming, can you pass me that picture that's just behind you, that hand-drawn one? Literally just above you. Yes. So, I can, just to show that I relate, and this is one that's been taken down from a couple of sites like Etsy when I tried to sell it because it was too good. Basically, this took me 3 days to do over breaks at work, and this is a hand-drawn Dragon Ball one that I did. Of Universe 7 when Dragon Ball Super came out a couple of years back, using Copics. Took me 3 days to do over breaks and in the evenings and stuff, and I didn't record the process. I just drew it and coloured it and just kept going through it. I love this piece. It's one of my favourite ones that I've done, and I've tried to sell it several times and nobody's wanted to buy it, which is a bit of a shame, but at the same time I've got it on my wall now. However, yeah, on and off, it can take ages to do a piece of art. But I completely relate with the whole taking your breaks, doing it, coming back and doing it. Sometimes you can get some amazing artwork at the end of it, and then when you look at the time at the end, you're like, oh, well, that took me 2 hours, but over 3 days. Well, that took me 3 days over, like 4 hours or 8 hours over 3 days, and it's like, wow. But it's so worth it. Ben, that's an interesting idea. You did a Pop Cross phobia dragon, so why not a Dempsey phobia demon? Yes, that's true. I can't draw a Dempsey phobia dragon though, because, well, I could do it, but I think it'd have to come from somebody else, the story. I can draw the dragon, but I'd have to get somebody else to come up with the lore. I wouldn't want to do it for myself. I'd want it to be a surprise. Just says, will you draw Omniverse Ben in your art style? Not sure. Possibly, if it gets suggested enough, or it wins on a livestream drawing. That'd be quite interesting. Chroma God wants to do my to do a Dempsey phobia dragon lore. That could be very interesting. I think I've got the basic lighting down that I want now on this. I wanted to check something a second. Sorry guys, I will be 2 seconds. I just need to check. I'm just curious about something I've done. So I just want to see if it's actually having any effect. Might have done. You never know. Possibly could have. It might work. I'll find out later if that's worked or not. Oh, sorry, I was trying something new with shorts in the channel and promoting stuff on the channel, like the live stream. So, interested to see what's happening with it. Full disclosure there. Right, so now we've got this all together. I kind of want to... How many more layers have I got? And one more layer, and then I run out of space. So I kind of want to just start merging these down a bit now to... I have to do it in a set order as I merge down. Potentially, so I don't lose everything. Wow, I'm losing some of the colour. That's not good. Okay, I can only do it on the normal layers. That's fine. That's freed up a bit of space. I don't want a clipping mask on that because I want to start creating some more solid shapes. In fact, I might just use that for it. So I want to create some kind of flame effect coming off for like an explosion. So I want some flames at the bottom corner coming up on the image. I can't talk now. I want some flames coming up at the bottom of the illustration a bit, which would be quite cool. So the main concept of this is I'm trying to get something to show a bit of the light or a bit of the effect, but I need to draw the basic shape in to get that working. Justin, no. I think Sun Wukong would beat Ben 10. It doesn't matter what alien. If you go by the true story of it, not only has he got his staff that extends, he also has an indestructible armor that protects him from almost any damage that he gets, as well as being able to clone himself through his hairs that he chucks out, and just being a complete and utterly crazy character that flies on a cloud. By the way, that's also the basis for Goku from Dragon Ball. So Son Goku is like Son Wukong. So yeah, I don't think Ben 10 would win. It would be an awesome fight though. Right, so let's start looking at some of these potential... What am I going to do? I need to have that. Yeah, I kind of want some just random... Actually, do I have a brush that does this? I potentially do. Don't think it does it on the scale that I want it to do though. That's fine. Currently what I'm doing, in case anybody's wondering, is I'm experimenting with the different brushes to see if I have, in this vast array of brush sets that I've got, if I've got one that works potentially for fire. Potentially could, but that would work more if I did it that way. Oh yes. I need to keep a copy of that. I like that effect so far. I might put a layer mask on that actually. This is why building up a brush collection is amazing for a digital artist. You could turn Venta Generics, Venom, Naruto, Black Panther, and Power Rangers. Is that turn them into each other characters? Fuse them? God, you're making me laugh now. Can you see that the whole thing looks like with a paper texture overlaid? Oh, what, you mean this? Potentially, I possibly could. I don't know if I've got a full paper texture, but let me see if I can find a texture that works like paper. I suppose that's more of a canvas. It's a bit more of a papery texture to it. No problem, Alien Animations. Thank you for joining the stream as much as you have done. It's about 11:30 here in the UK, so a bit of a time zone difference, but I appreciate it. And we'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, Justin, that's the kind of closest thing to a paper texture I can probably do. Which, even though it looks quite cool, we're not going to keep it. Haha. Planning to keep it looking digital and make this kind of stand out and work. I did like the effect. I might do a version of it at the end, but for now it's only going to complicate things a little bit having that paper texture. Right, that's a colour dodge, so if I go into another, I kind of want to add a bit of an orange, see what the orange one does if I use that. Kind of weird. I'm trying to find the right balance of that's quite an annoying track actually. Let's change that a second. That's doing my head in. I got an advert instead. I'll play straight after the advert. He's about to die from a nuclear bomb. Kind of. I'm trying to make an idea of flames coming out that are quite cool and almost. Maybe if those ones are normal and the one underneath is more of a Merge that down too, it's fine. I guess the tricky bit of this is finding the right... I'm trying to give it kind of a I say I'm trying to give it kind of a texture. I don't actually know what effect I'm going for at the moment. I'm just trying to I don't really know what I'm trying to do at the moment on this, to be honest. I'm trying to find a kind of a feeling or an effect to the picture. I kind of have an idea in mind, but I don't at the same time. It's a really weird scenario to be in, to describe. I may just have to paint in the rough shape of what I want instead of doing all this. Yeah, it's quite cool how it is, but I'm trying to push it to the next level. So I'm trying to take, for example, maybe that's what I need to do. Okay, that might be what I need to do. How am I going to create this brush? Can I create a brush here on stream? I need to find the right type of brush to use. That work? Okay, I'm going to try something completely new. I learnt this on a tip thing on YouTube. Just need to find the right bit to... Is it on the rendering then? There's somewhere you turn it to... Maybe it's this one, color dynamics. One of these, you turn it to like an exclusion. Here we go. What happens if I turn it to like subtraction? I've kind of like got this outline type brush now when I build it up. Done. Let's have a look at this brush. Oh, we could have some fun with this. It needs a bit of a tweak, but we are creating a brush live on stream to use for an effect on this. I've never done this before, so this will be quite interesting. I will probably need a brush without so many little bits. So let's delete that. I've kind of got an idea of what I'm doing now. So I want to... Is that the best one? Or is it the fit? I think this is the brush we need. Blend mode. Is it that one on the rendering that we want the... stroke path spacing. Oh, maybe it's in here. Oh, amazing. Sorry, I'm learning as I go along here, which is a bit of a weird thing to say, but... maybe it's the difference I want. I'm trying to basically get a brush that's like an outline brush. Which means that I probably have to change the rendering on this to be back to normal on both, so that we've got a stroke path spacing. No. So the primary brush is that one. Does that mean that that's the one that needs the size down? Does this one need the size up then? Was this the one that needs the size down and the other one needs the size up? We had it better with the other brush, didn't we? Right, let's cancel that. Go back in. So we've got this brush here. I am literally just playing with ideas. Oh wow! I'll tell you what, I'll just do it the good old-fashioned way for now, and I'll figure out a brush later, because that's going to be rather unique and interesting to do. Sorry, slight change of plans to what I was working on there, but I kind of want to do a... So I want to do is kind of a... This will make sense in a bit what I'm doing. I'm trying to create almost like a comic flame effect coming off it a little bit. And if it ties in rightly, it'll be looking really cool. But it's getting that vibe and feeling from it, which is going to be quite interesting to do. Okay, so the idea of this is I want to be cheeky, so I'm going to do it on this one first. I want to duplicate that just to be on the safe side. Good tip, digital, if you've got something that looks right and Procreate, if you scale it up, you lose whatever crops off the side of the canvas around here. So if you anything on these outsides of the canvas here, you will lose when you transform a scale up and set it down, then go to transform it back. It's not like Photoshop by keeping what's off the canvas visible, the visible portion of the canvas. So it's a good tip to always duplicate what you've got before you do something, because I want to experiment with a potential gradient map on this. And in fact, before I do that, I need to alpha lock this and then just add a bit of a just add it manually actually. And that's going to go to a that's going to go to a normal layer still, because what do I want to do? I want to potentially shrink that down a bit. How's the best way to do this? Okay, first off I want to do a Gaussian blur. On the normal layer. Is that really not doing anything with a Gaussian blur? I kind of just want it to blur the edges a bit, to be honest. Oh, hang on. That'd be why. We've just discovered the alpha lock stops you being able to blur the edges quite how you want them to be, because I want those to be blurred but this to be solid. And then what I want to do is I want to manually erase certain aspects of this. but not on the normal layer. I kind of have to do this a manual process in Procreate for what I'm doing, and then it will make more sense afterwards. You are limited by some of the stuff the the program can and can't do. But I don't want this to be completely smooth. I want it to be a bit rough, rougher looking on the edges around here, just to be a bit more hand drawn and almost realistic in a sense. Unfortunately, there's no like contract thing on your selection tool, which is a bit of a shame. But what do people think of the kind of like this flame effect that we're making around the edges? I do need to make a brush that deals with outlines. I think if I can make an outline brush and then colour the solid bit on the inside in, that would work a lot better. In fact, I also need to bring it that way around. Potentially more there. There's still an extra bit to do on this, but I will sort that shortly. Justin, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, I got no opinion on that. I'm just winding up, Justin, it's cool. Yeah, it does look alright at the moment. It's going to look better in a little bit once I finish adding some of these extra bits. I want to get this right on these ones because what I'm planning to do next might not work, but I can delete that one now. Give me the extra layer I need up here. I'm planning to do something really weird in a sense. Kind of want it to be a solid colour actually. More towards a darker. Maybe a greeny yellow. And then that can go more towards pinkier red. And then more onto the actual red that we've got. Maybe it's overkill with that extra layer here. Trying to find the right kind of alignment for this to make it work with what I'm after. I quite like that one actually. I'll just merge that down, add a bit of a mask, back it down on its opacity a little bit. Ah, that makes more sense. Let's just delete that mask a minute. I need to merge that down onto there and then add a mask. Reason being, I want to kind of it's not going to be solid on all the aspects as you go around. So there's going to be bits of this which are kind of bit transparent, and let's here I'm out of layers again. Oh, I can delete all those three now. That's cool. Layer, so I'll just delete that top layer. Justin, go for it. Draw it. It'll be quite interesting and quite cool. I don't want to go too overboard with the flames, but at the same time I want to kind of like just really kick the ass out of that corner. What, just going like that? Yeah, I should have probably gone like that with the thing on him. Would have been quite cool. So the next thing I need to do is add this kind of smoky effect that was mentioned earlier. So I need to find a smoke. This one kind of has a lot of stuff, including plasma smoke, but I kind of want air. I think, would it be the galaxy stamp? Tony says, I'm back, sorry, in my dinner. No, that's fine, that's not a problem. Stella says, I'm planning during my Splatoon OC so they were in the Pokemon world with their partner Pokemon suits and their playstyles. That's quite cool. I'm planning to figure out how I'm going to add more to these layers to make it so that they stay with what they got to do. I can get rid of that. That can be merged down. I need to create another layer in between everything, which is probably about here. Kind of color dodge layer. Actually, the red's more up here. This is not going to make any sense to anybody what I'm doing, but it'll make sense in a minute. You have your super light layer here. And we've got kind of a yellowy layer in the middle. Wow, that looks quite intense actually. I quite like that, but I don't think that's quite as much of the colours that we want. If that's the case, I kind of want the opposite on the other side, so I actually want to go oh, that's 65. Gotta wait for the advert to go by. What do you guys think of that? I quite like this. I really like this one. This has got a whole vibe to it right now. This is looking kind of a little bit insane. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of got a really cool. Yeah, I've kind of got a... I want that layer actually further down. And then I want a second one. That's layer 22 though, so that needs to be... Oh, hang on. Do I need that layer? Oh yeah, I need that one. That's a crucial layer. I need that one. Can I merge that down without any issues? Yes, perfect. I need one more layer. That's the reason why. I need to be able to create an extra layer around here and just add a few. Not exactly main particles, but I want to add a few ink splats, effects, snowfall, particle spray. I'm sure I had one that I was looking for in particular. Try particle spray. Nope. I kind of want to just get a bit of a... There's something missing from this. This is what I feel. This a small element missing. That's a finishing touch on this one.
Mario jumping up in the background.
Possibly. I kind of feel that it's the... Maybe I need to a it needs a bit of the actual colour coming through in the middle. Bit more of that vibe, as it were. That's a bit better. What do you reckon, guys? Do you reckon this kinda works? I think we definitely hit a new level on this. I might wanna just see if I can get an extra layer in here a minute. I can. Perfect. I want to kind of get a will that work? Does that kind of work for a texture on it? I don't think it does. I know what I kind of want. I kind of want like a metal... What's textures? Chroma Gods invented the word eptastic. I quite like that. That'd be quite a nice one to have on here. Oh wow, this is looking actually really insane with some of this. get an extra one in? No. I think that might be what we're calling it as our illustration. I think I quite like how that's finally come out. I possibly feel there's a need for not much, just a tiny bit of I won't say full one, but just enough to kind of show that part of the eye behind it. Yeah, otherwise it's too solid. I know it's solid down there. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's where I'm going to stop this one. We have been going for sort of like 2 hours 15 minutes, which is quite cool. And I think this is probably the... Oh, actually, no, hang on. They're really plugging that 65 trailer at the moment. I feel there's more needed. I feel I need a bit more of a... No, it just feels like there should be some more red or something on these. This one down here, like... Just so close to it, it feels like there should be some more... Seems daft now I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, actually it needs a bit more red here and a bit more red there and a bit more here. I'm glad you guys like how this is turning out. I'm really enjoying how this is starting to look now, actually. I was not expecting it to kind of turn out quite like this. I can't get another layer on, can I? No. What's that layer? That's that smoke there. Can I? Kind of want it on normal, but the opacity not to be quite so high. Merge that down, that's quite cool, and I've got that kept there, so I can add another layer. It's going to be daft, but I know there's something else missing, a slight highlight that needs to be on here. And it's for these chompers, and it's going to be bugging me if I can't get this right. It's not just this bit, the highlight I'm doing, this is just kind of like the core basis. I want to add the... Needs to be quite a solid colour. Can I get another layer in? Oh, yes! Is that enemy? Nope, 22 reached, okay. What's on that there? Let's just delete those extra sparkles, I'll add them in later. I like the way I said I think I'm going to call it a night here, and then all of a sudden I've started doing more details on this one. It's like, yeah, no, we're continuing with this. Okay, now I think I'm potentially happy with that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this now. I've added the colour bits into the metal elements. And hang on, are the chomp chains actually... Where's the idea, the illustration of that? Which one is it? They are kind of metallic, aren't they, in design? Okay, I know what's missing. I know what layer I'm actually missing. The final layer for the final element goes at the very top. It's also quite an interesting one to actually do because it needs a light pen. It's a really bright colour. Probably not that. Is that too much? I think that's too much. Maybe that should be a darker blue. Yeah, you won't see that on there. I can always move this layer about if I need to in a bit, but it's kind of just... add a few small bits onto it. And then hopefully it'll stand out a bit more, because this is coming out really nice. I just want to make sure I've got kind of the right... Yeah, if you think this looked cool before, wait till you see what's happening now. This is gonna just pop just enough to... It's weird. I'm adding the highlights, not trying to do too many. Just trying to do enough to emphasize the key areas. And sometimes I probably will be doing a lot of overkill on this, but other times it's like it won't be quite so much what you class as overkill, it's just highlighting the so I think this needs to come down a layer or two underneath the flames, but above the rest of it. Oh, that'd be quite interesting. Justin narrators in the Family Guy art style would be really interesting to see, to be honest. That'd be quite cool. I think once I've done this bit on this chomper, it's probably done. I think we're going to call that done on that one. I'm not really sure what else I can add to it to... I think I'll leave it there. So that's our finished illustration of Roy the Koopaling in a digital style. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to that. I'm going to leave that how that is and then produce that as a final picture on and put that on the Patreon. What do you guys think? Do you like how this final illustration came out? I'm really pleased with it. Definitely better than I thought I was going to get to with the starting point and what I had in mind, the fire. I just kind of thought fire, contrast on one side, explosion, and yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Cool. Have we got any questions before I call it a night? Because it's 12:30 here in the morning. So if there's questions, I'll answer a couple. If not, then I will call it a night. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. If you're all good. Just watching the chat to see if there's anything or not. Nope. Okay. Well, in that case, guys, I will catch up with you next time. Thanks for joining the stream. And yeah, see you later.